After Friday's 1% move lower, can we expect the bears to continue pushing price lower, or are the bulls about to step in and push price back up? Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to High Quality Trades, where we go over simple support and resistance levels, trend line breaks, and pattern formations. And I give you the price targets of where price is headed in the coming days. So let's get into it. In today's video, we will be going over the most significant support and resistance levels on the SPY, the triple Qs, all of the fateful 8 mega cap stocks, AMD, Snowflake, AFRM, AMAT, and Coinbase. We got a lot to go over, so let's get into it. So today is February 9th, and the most recent close of the SPY was 677 cents. On Friday, it reached a high of 608.13 and a low of 600. We were negative 1% on the day. Alright guys, so what is the SPY currently doing? Well, it looks like we have fallen below our 602 support level here. And now we're going to test our 599 support level. If the bulls are able to find support at 599, then we can head back up towards 602. But if the bears push price below 599, then we won't have any support until around 595. That's what I'd be looking for to happen going into Monday and Tuesday. But to get a better idea of where price is headed, let's go into the 15-minute time frame and then look at our 200 period moving average. So on Friday, we did fall below the moving average, which does signal that the bears are now in control, and it's most likely we're headed down towards 599. And if that level breaks, then that 595 support level will probably be tagged. Going back out onto the 4-hour time frame, we are approaching the oversold level on the RSI here, and our momentum wave is headed down towards the zero line as well. So if we do break below these levels, I'd be looking for something like this to happen, maybe find support at the 200 here before we push back up. But being that we're approaching oversold, I would say we are due for a bounce coming soon. Alright, let's move on to the triple Qs. So the triple Qs ended up falling below the 526 support level, and we're headed down towards the 520, which is the next support level. If the triple Qs ends up finding support at that level, we could head back up towards the 526 level. But if we break below 520, I'd be looking for the triple Qs to head down towards 516. To get a better idea of where the market's headed, let's go over the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute. So it does look like we fell below the moving average. We're headed down towards 520. The longer we remain below this, the 200 period moving average will start to slope downwards, and then it will start supporting the bears and will continue pushing price lower. It's possible that next week we head down towards this 516 level if the bearish price momentum continues. A bullish signal would be if we're able to get above the 200 period moving average here, we can head up towards 526 and even the 531 level. What's our dynamic flow indicator doing? Similar to SPY, we are approaching oversold. So if the RSI does end up oversold the early part of next week, look for a bounce. And then also our momentum waves are heading downwards, which is insinuating more bearish price momentum Alright, that's going to be it for the triple Qs. Let's head on to Apple. So Apple did get a bounce off this 226 support level, but it only managed to get above. It only managed to make it up to the 222 level before the bears push price back down towards 226 here on Friday. So if bearish price momentum continues here on Apple, we may break below this 226 support level, and then we'd head down towards our trend line here and possibly even the next support level at 219. Be cautious on Apple. If it breaks below its trend line here, I would expect the bears to push price even further down to the 214 support level. Alright, that's going to be it here on Apple. Let's move on to Meta. Meta hovered around its upper weekly expected move last week, but then the bears did step in towards the end of the day. We got sort of a topping tail inverted hammer candle here. So if Meta starts to fall come Monday and Tuesday, I'd be looking for it to find support down here at the 681 level, or even the upper level of its rising wedge trend line. So yeah, look for that the early part of next week. Wait, I did forget to go over the bearish divergences that are evident here on the RSI. No, they're not. So let's continue moving on. Alrighty, Amazon. So Amazon had some shitty earnings on Thursday and fell down to support here 229. With Friday's price action, we actually broke below the 229 support level. So this is now insinuating a drop down to 225 before possibly the bears step in and try to push price back up. If the bears succeed in breaking below the 225 support level, be looking for the lows from earnings to be tested, which is down here around 221. But we could even fall as low as the 216 level if the bulls really cannot hold support here on Amazon. Alrighty, let's move on to Google. So Google ended up having crappy earnings as well. It found support at the lower level of this pennant pattern, but Thursday, Friday's price action, we actually broke below that level. We headed down towards 188, but fell below that as well. Ended up finding support at 188. So come next week, I'd be looking for the 185 level to hold as support. But if it can't, and the bears push price below that level, I'd then be looking for the 183 level to hold as support. But if the bears succeed in breaking below that level, we got this gap down here that I'd be looking for the bears to try to fill. If we go out on the daily time frame, it is a giant gap that actually starts to fill at the 182 level. So if the bulls cannot step up here on Google, bears will push price probably down towards the 200-day moving average. All right, let's move on to Microsoft. So Microsoft did get a bounce off of the 410 level early last week, but it couldn't make it up to the 420 resistance level. We ended up finding resistance around 218, and then we fell back down towards 410. With the end of the day on Friday closing below the 410 support level, is setting up the 405 support level to be tested next week. And if the bears push price below that level, then look for 400 to be tested as the next support level here on Microsoft. All right, let's move on to NVDA. NVIDIA has a giant gap that it's attempting to fill out on the daily time frame that has a lot of sellers in this area. So being that every day was green last week, I would be expecting the bears to attempt to push price lower this week. So if the bears start to step in here at the 129 resistance level, I would then be looking for price to fall down towards this trend line at 122, but we could even test the 120 support level before the bulls step up and then try to attempt a gap fill on the daily time frame. I think we did get a piercing candle here that, yeah, is insinuating some bearish price action. All right, let's move on to Netflix. Netflix was bullish last week. It broke above the upper trend line of its pennant and then headed all the way up to 1,027. I did attempt to trade this one on this doji candle that we got, but as price ended up breaking below this 4-hour candle, I ended up getting out of my trade, but I should have got back in it as price continued to push higher. Anyways, so we're looking for Netflix to hold above the 1006 level, but if it can't, Netflix breaks below 1006, I think it'll head down towards the 989 level. It does have some bearish divergence on the RSI, with these highs not matching, but price has made a high and a higher high. So if this shooting star candle continues to push price lower, look for the 189 level to be hit the early part of next week. Okay, let's move on to Tesla. Tesla did get a bounce off of its 364 support level last week. Then we went up towards the 380 level as resistance, but we could not break above this level, so price has headed back down towards a gap fill after breaking below the 364 level. We notice on the daily time frame, Tesla has now filled this daily gap, and it looks like it's headed down towards the next gap down here at 345. So if bearish price action continues here on Tesla, look for this gap to be filled on the daily time frame. All right, let's move on to AMD. So after AMD's crappy earnings, it broke out of a falling wedge pattern actually, which now signals for price to head down towards the $83 level, which is the lower level of this big price channel. So it looks to me like all AMD has done is we got a bounce and then it retested the lower level of its falling wedge, and now price is going to continue lower. The bulls are just nowhere to be found on AMD, so I'd be looking for the lows from earnings to be taken out, and then we head lower on AMD next week. Alrighty, Snowflake is our next stock. Snowflake has a cup and handle pattern that it's attempting to break out of at the current moment, but we are failing at the opening of this cup. So if Snowflake cannot get above 189, I'd look for price to fall back down towards 178, and then if 178 can't hold, I'd look for 172 to possibly hold as support. But if bullish price action arises here on Snowflake, I would then be looking for price to get above 189, test it as support, and then a full measured move of our cup and handle puts us up here at 217. So look for that, people. All right, let's move on to AFRM. Now, AFRM is one I did trade last week for earnings. I ended up buying it at the break of this trend line, and then holding it through earnings. We pushed up to the $73 level. So that one contract I bought is up about 200%, which I'm happy with. So what we're looking for AFRM to do is hold above 73, but with the bearish momentum that seems to be coming into the rest of the market, we may break below the $73 level and head down towards 68. But hopefully the bulls will try to step in on this level and push price back up. But if it couldn't, then we break below the $68 level, then I'd expect price to head down towards the 200-day or 200 period moving average here on the 4-hour, which is somewhere around the $63 level. Let's see what happens Monday, Tuesday next week. All right, let's move on to AMAT. AMT did get a bounce off its trend line here, but is struggling to get above 186. There is some bearish divergence on the RSI, which is contributing to the price falling here and the bears stepping up. If we cannot continue price action, any bullish price action here, then we will fall lower on AMAT. I would be hoping the 200 period moving average will hold as support, but if we fall below that, looks like we would be headed down towards the 174 level. All right, let's move on to Coinbase, our last one. So Coinbase here is still remaining above the flag pattern that it broke out of. Oh no, not a flag, it's a giant cup and handle pattern. If we go out here on the weekly, you can kind of see what I have mapped out. So there's the cup, here's the handle. We broke out, back tested it as support, and we should be pushing higher here on Coinbase with any luck. But this is a giant cup and handle pattern. May take weeks to months to even years to play out. So if Coinbase is able to remain above the upper level of this handle, we should continue pushing price higher. Let's go on to the 4-hour time frame. Being that we could not stay above the 248 level, it may be that Coinbase pushes down towards the upper level of the handle, which is right here, based on these two touch points, which does signal that price will fall down towards the 253 level if the bulls are not able to step up. I would say we have a trend line here that if Coinbase is able to break above, that would signal a measured move of this move here that could possibly signal Coinbase is going to rise in price all the way up to the 359 level. That's only if next week the bulls succeed in pushing price above 284 and then even above the 293 level, breaking out of this trend line. This will push price up to the 310 level next week. Alrighty guys, I went over a lot. I appreciate you guys watching high quality trades. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.